Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe F1 2019. It's Division 1 Round 10 here at the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, of course famously known as, and the internet connection quality is currently not sufficient enough to broadcast gameplay. This is going to be such a great start to the stream. Anyways, I'm James Head 14, tuning in once again to take you through the commentary here tonight in Canada. And of course, with it being round 10 of the championship, we are now past the halfway stage in the championship standings here tonight. And I will just confirm for you in a moment the standings at this moment in time. I've just got to get them first, so bear with me for 2 seconds. The driver's standings is as follows. Montana obviously leading the way, the Swiss driver out on top. I'm just going to crop down the standings just so I can actually see what I'm reading here. There we go. That's better. Montana, 203 points, leading the way from ILRT Rafa in second on 108. He was retired sadly from the championship. Harrison David not attending here tonight. He's on 76 points after that famous comeback last week, his disqualification in Russia. Lest we dwell on that. Luigi in fourth, been scoring very consistently and has been doing very well with points scoring, 61 points for him. YHYY, our new lobby host, in tonight in fifth place on 49 points. He's alongside Cantera on 49 points as well. Wouters in seventh on 45. And then it's Sterling on eighth on 44. Messina in ninth on 44 as well. And Juman 10th on 42 points. Bullet Boy, after his DNS last time out in Russia, on 39 points in 11th, with Rick in 12th on 36, Dakar in 13th on 33, good score from him last week, good fourth place. Xjarry in 14th on 33 points, then a bit of a breakdown to Killer Blue, who obviously did score that 5th position last week in Russia, and hopefully we'll be hoping for more of the same here tonight with that, and he's on 18 points. Same with Mitch Emery, who I think is back here tonight, I do believe. I'm not seeing him in the lobby just yet, but Mitch Emery hopefully will be racing here tonight after a second place on his League of Europe return. He's also on 18. Neo on 15 points, with Larkin back tonight after 3 did not start. He's back here tonight in the Racing Point, good to see him back. He's on 13 points and 18th. V5H in 19th on 11. And Game Boys in 20th on 9 points. So that is what the standings are at the moment here for the driver standings. And as soon as I've just read through that, hopefully we are still live and everything. Hopefully there's no lag going on here tonight for the stream. Of course, League of Europe Division 3 is also live at the moment. If you're just transferring over from League of Europe Division 3 to Division 1, you've made the right decision. And especially if you watched last week's race in Russia, fantastic race last week, brilliant. So if you're tuning in, maybe even if you tune in for the first time and you don't know what this is, it's League of Europe, it's Division 1. This is the top tier of racing here in this league. And of course, we go to a track that is synonymous for champions. The Wall of Champions especially. We are here of course at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. 3 DRS straights, 1 down the back straight recently added in 2018. That's between turn 7 and 8. Then we've got one from the hairpin all the way down towards that Wall of Champions chicane between 12, the kink at 12 and the braking zone at 13. Then on the exit 14, which is the left complex of the chicane, onto the start finish straight to run down towards turn 1. There's only 14 turns around here, but as I've said, this track is synonymous for champions being caught out on track. Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve and Damon Hill all falling foul in 1998 to the Wall of Champions, and that is why this corner has got synonymous feelings here of the F1 community. And in terms of Montreal, if you're a bit of a fat geek like me, first Grand Prix held here in 1978. 35 laps we should be seeing for these drivers out on track, I do believe, either 35 or 36. 4.3 kilometres in length, and the lap record round here set by Valtteri Bottas this year with a 1:13.0. Whether we'll see any of that here tonight, I think we're going to be seeing 1:11s, 1:10s I hope for here tonight, maybe even a 1:09, who knows. But thank you to everyone that is tuning in for the stream here tonight. And I do apologise because my Wi-Fi was actually on, so that's probably why it's been lagging a little bit. I failed to put on airplane mode there, but there we go. Coming into tonight's racing, of course, let's have a look at the comment section. Good evening to Montana, good evening to Bullet Boy tuning in as well, good evening to June. Do not be surprised if I get disqualified tonight, says June. And Montana coming in, Corner Cut City. Yeah, this track is very, very, very bad on corner cutting. And it looks like we've got a dry qualifying for now. For now, I may stress that we could get rain around here. It's normally a track that I've commentated on, and we have had rain in Canada for most of the races I've covered around here in this famous track. And of course, these graphics recently updated with the 1.12 update from F1 2019, and the recent addition, I think, of the glass. The grandstand looks like it's been redone out a little bit, so good play to them. I think it's been resurfaced, like some of the texture's been resurfaced there. But first action coming out on track, guess who it is? It's Montana, the current championship leader, coming out on track. Set a medium compound of tyres for Montana. 3 different compound of tyres if you haven't tuned in for the previous 9 races of this season. Soft compound of tyres is the softest and the quickest compound of tyres. As Neil has left the session already, hopefully that's just a disconnect. He can get back in. He's got another 17 minutes to get back in before the start of the race. Medium compound of tyres, which you'll see with Montana, is the middle of the 3 compound of tyres. Not as quick as the softs, but they are more durable. And by that, I mean they are a lot more... You can get a lot more wear out of them. You can get a lot longer into the race. Same with the hard compound of tyres, more durable, way more durable than the softs, for example, and indeed the mediums. And hopefully we will see some drivers up to go maybe a one-stop strategy round here. The tyre wear on the softs, certainly, it's about 4 or 5%. Montana on the mediums, probably about 3-4% per lap. And then on the hards, it'll probably be about 2-3% per lap. So anywhere between 2 and 5% tyre wear around here in Canada, as we are about to set out on a lap with Montana, the flying Swiss man coming across the line. There is a car just coming out the pits just beside him, I do believe. Don't know who that is. Coming out the pits, that looked like there was Haas coming out the pits, so it might have been either Messina or Game Boys. Montana now through into turns 3 and 4, coming through very nicely there. Into turn 5, of course, the kink where Lance Stroll and Brendan Hartley came together in 2018. Montana now through that chicane of turn 6 and 7, famously, of course, where Vettel went off. He just ran a little bit wide there. Now trying to take as little pressure as possible into the corner. Let's take as little room as possible. Saves the ground through the chicane, very nice. And he's now up towards the hairpin at turn 10, of course. Robert Kubica, 2007, famous moment where he dramatically crashed in that. Montana making the hairpin look very, very easy indeed. Now the Swiss man running down the straight onto the next DRS zone, turn between 10, 12 and 13. Game Boys is already out the session, has retired out on track, must have crashed it, I think, out on track. Montana then through the wall of champion chicane, looking very nice, not rubbing against the wall, and he now downs it towards the line, and it's a 108.5, so you can basically screw all of the predictions that I made earlier on, 109 to 110s. That's definitely out of the question. 108 to 107s, I think, is probably what we're going to be seeing here tonight. Montana, Chapelletti just coming in with a 109.1 in that Red Bull. Nice lap from him. We'll just pick it up on board with somebody that's about to come across the line. Dakar is the next one to come across the line. A 108.7 puts him up into second place. The Scotsman going very nicely there in that Mercedes. While Luigi on a lap, Neil has joined back in, which is good to see. Larkin on his return. He's missed the last 3 races, but he's across the line and he goes second, just ahead of Dakar. You should be seeing quite a condensed field here, I think, in qualifying for Schuer. Already 6/10 of a second separating Montana to Chapelletti. 4 drivers currently set times out on track. We'll go on board then with our lobby horse, YHYY, the Finn, of course, in a good vein of form, I think, coming into tonight. And the Finn, losing an end plate on the exit of the final corner there. Right side end plate has completely gone off the car, 110.2. And as a result of that contact, I think he was on for 110 anyways, as Xjavi has just gone ahead of him and behind, 109.3, and that is just better. In fact, VTRF HRL comes in, Messina comes in with a 108.6 as well, so the 2 NSX drivers right at the top of the standings. While Luigi through the final corner, hopefully continues good run of points in recent races. while Luigi coming across the line, and he's 7th with a 109.3. You will see a lot of improvements coming out of these drivers here tonight. Good to see Neo out on track after his earlier blemish of a disconnect. Sterling though, ILRT Sterling running down towards the final 2 corners. Of course, he is an American driver in Canada. Could it be pretty much a home success for him? He's about to come across the line now to set his first lap time, and he's across the line, set 108.9. That's a very respectable lap time there from ILRT Sterling. We had Neil just coming across the line there with a 110.1, and Bullet Boy just bettering him by about 300ths of a second. But 5 minutes gone in qualifying, and it's Montana out on top with a 108.5. Messina in 2nd, Larkin in 3rd with a 108.7. I can't get to Larkin at this stage. Dakar with a 108.7 in 4th, ILRT Sterling in 5th, Chapelelli in 6th, Xjarry in 7th, Luigi in 8th, Bullet Boy in 9th, and there's Neo in 10th position. MyHYY and V5HOL, who, as I speak, has just improved by about nearly 5 seconds on that lap. So he improves to 1:11 flat. Good drive by him so far in qualifying. Cantera, Killer Blue and Doom still yet to set any sort of time. We'll ride on board then with Doom, the Spaniard, who was about to start a lap here. We're about 1/3 of the way through here in qualifying. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in. I'm James Head, your commentator here tonight. Doom coming through turns 1 and 2, now towards the chicane at 3 and 4. Just catching on the curve nicely there on the exit. Coming through 3 and 4. Of course, this track has been considered as corner cut heaven according to Montana. 19.1 through the first sector though for Doom. Looking very nice indeed. Cantera is also going to be starting a lap just in behind him as well. So right on board with Doom, who's looking very quick here down the straight. 199 down into the braking zone. 199 mile an hour carried through the braking zone. Then through turns 8 and 9. Up towards the hairpin here at turn 10. And it's a 40.6 through the middle sector. Looking very, very good indeed. And Cantera is right ahead of him out on track. And this is Team Tactics once again being used by the Renault drivers. Bit of slipstream, trying to gain as much as possible. Perfectly produced there, I've got to say. Cantera on and out lap. If I was being honest, I don't think it should be allowed, to be honest, this. But Doom, anyways, from the final corner, I think he's going to go top of the leaderboard here, coming into qualifying. Yeah, 108.2, nice lap. And I think even without that slipstream, he would have been going quicker than Montana. But very odd, I've got to say, being used. Team Tactics, I personally do not appreciate Team Tactics being used in qualifying at all. I think the drivers have to go about in their own individual way qualifying how they perceive it, and I think it's crucial to getting better laps than what we've seen. I think that is crucial, and I think you could argue that there's a bit of cheating going into that, but make your own mind up on that. That's just my opinion. Anyways, about 8 minutes through, Doom leading the way with a 108.2. Montana on a lap, improving 0.4 of a second. Could see the first 107 of the night here from the Swiss man, the current championship leader. And 203 points as I sit through the final corner, really attacking that nicely. It's going to be a 107.9, is it? Oh, 108 flat for Montana, just shy, getting about 300ths in that final sector. So Montana goes quickest and goes ahead of Doom by about 0.2 of a second as Doom comes into the pits respectively. Chapelelli on a lap, he's gone 3rd actually with a 108.6. Nice lap from the Red Bull driver there, with Messina in 4th. He's now out on the soft compound of tyres. Larkin coming through the final 2 corners. I think he might be improving here, Larkin. Better come across the line. Yeah, 108.5, jumps ahead of Chapelelli and Messina and goes 3rd at this moment in time as we approach the halfway stage here in qualifying in Canada at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. That's Montana, Doom and Larkin, your current top 3. Of course, don't take that literally because it will change before the end, and it does have a real perceiving. As soon as I said that, Dakar, 108 flat. Dakar goes top and takes Montana down into 2nd place. We're on board with Messina though, who's on a very nice lap here in the Haas. I think he's going to go 4th this lap. He does, 108.3, and that's actually bettered by Xjarry, who was running in a bit of dirty air there as well. 108.2, maybe even quicker if he wasn't running in that dirty air. Nice lap there by the Mercedes drivers, Dakar and Xjarry 1st and 3rd at this stage. But everything will change, I can promise you that for now. We're on board then with Killer Blue, who is coming through into the hairpin at turn 10. Looks like he might have invalidated this lap actually, Killer Blue. Right on board with him Yeah, he's running low fuel, and I think his teammate is also in the pits. Montana has just came in the pits as well. So Killer Blue coming down the run towards turn 13 and 14. Yeah, straight into the pits. Knew he wasn't on a good lap there. V5H12's just started up a lap. We'll go on board then with YHYY. Of course, famously took off his right side end plate in the contact with the Wall of Champions and nearly puts it into the wall again, and he does. It's a left side end plate damage there. You really saw it when we were riding him on board there. He's got too close to the side of the wall and he's clipped the little, almost like barrier, the little intersection going off where the cars can be recovered. That's strange. I've never seen that before, but YHYY back into the pits. Luckily, no damage done literally to his qualifying. He's currently in 12th with a 1:10.2. He will improve on that. I have no doubt about that. V5H12 is the only current one on a lap. He's on a set of mediums. Let's see if he gets closer to the wall. That left side little intersection there, that's where he connected with the wall there, YHYY, but V5H12 makes that look very easily. He's about to come across the line now. Very nice lap this. He goes 10th for the 109.1. Very nice lap indeed. Goes ahead of Waluigi into the top 10. Very nice lap there from him. Bullet Boy is on a lap. Doom has just started up a lap as well. Hopefully, we're not going to be seeing any team tactics here tonight for the Renaults. As Doom just got to the inside there. I'm not sure if that was an invalidation. We'll see through the first sector. The 19 flat, he's 800s up. So whatever, there's definitely not an invalidated lap so far. It was nice and on the edge. But Doom, is that his teammate ahead of him? It's not. It's a McLaren that's ahead of him, but he's trying to use that slipstream as much as possible. Doom now into turns 8 and 9. On the run up towards turn 9. He got very close to the wall there and ran on the grass. Just cost him a little bit of time, and he's now 300ths down. So he's lost about nearly a 10th and a half of a second through that middle sector. And there is Cantera again. Thankfully, getting out of the way this time, and I really appreciate that, to be honest. Doom now on the run down towards the final two corners at the Wall of Champion chicane at 13 and 14. Will try and get as close to the wall as possible, going right and then left. Tries to get the run through the corner, and Doom, in fact, I think this is invalidated. It is 4/10 off in the end, 108.6. He wasn't improving on that lap, and I think he's going to be coming back into the pits as well. We'll go on board with try and pick out on somebody. Waluigi will go on board with Belgian. 19.5 through the first sector, 4/10 up in the middle sector, 40.9. Not as quick as what we've seen coming up towards the hairpin, but Waluigi now through turn 11, now through the little kink at turn 12. This is the first flat out corner out on track, and pretty much one of the only flat out corners actually out on track. Waluigi now coming down towards this infamous chicane, right into the middle of the track, and he didn't look any sort happy with that lap at all. So Waluigi off that lap and he's straight into the pits. 109.3 is current best. Sterling start the lap as well. We'll go on board with Xjarry. He's just improved, has he? Yeah, 108.2. That is from Xjarry. In fact, he was third, wasn't he? So Xjarry, that's not a lap, and Montana goes quicker with a 107.8. First 107 of the night, so the Swiss man doing very nicely there. We'll ride on board with Cantera, who in fact has misjudged this, and I think Cantera is coming back into the pits. He is. Not happy with that at all. I think he might have actually run out of fuel coming into the pits, so Cantera is back in. Neo on a lap, the German. Very good result from last time out in Russia. Takes out nicely, coming down towards the final, coming across the start-finish line. It's an invalidated lap. It's a 108.2, and that actually would have put him fourth with that lap. So the Racing Point driver not looking too good. If you can hear a little bit of rattling, by the way, I have got throat menthol in my mouth. I am a bit sore with my throat still. Still got a bit of flu, so I'm trying to push on through here and not lose my voice at all, and that's hopefully what you appreciate from me here tonight. The commitment level is here. But Montana out on top. Dakar in second, Xjarry third. Your current top three. We'll go on board then with RRT Sterling. Well, I'll check the comment section, see what you guys are interacting with in the comment section. Of course, I do like my comments in the comment section, so do keep them coming through. Division 3 is also live as well. I'll give you an update briefly. Good evening to Old School tuning in, and Yari actually coming in and saying it should be all dry. 200s up in the middle second on both laps. Maximum commitment at the final chicane. Yeah, maximum commitment has to be taken at that final chicane. So I think if you don't take it maximum power and maximum effort, you're not really at that committed level. Sterling actually is invalidated and he comes into the pits, not happy with his lap there. Larkin has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in. Messina coming through the final 2 corners. They're very, very close to the wall on the exit. Coming across the line and he goes second. Maybe if he didn't have that little bit of a wayward moment at the final corner, he could have gone quicker than Montana. But 107.9 was only the 2 NSX drivers into the 107 tier tonight to Montana and Messina first and second, Dakar in third position. Killer Blue is on a lap just in behind Messina, actually out on track. So Killer Blue in that Williams, tuning in, and an 18.9 through the first sector. That's a very competitive first sector there from Killer Blue. Looking very good. Opens up the DRS now. Should reach about 200 mile an hour up towards the braking zone. That is Messina just getting out of the way. 198 mile an hour under the braking zone into turn 8 and 9. Now running up the slight hill into turn 10 at the hairpin now. And it's a 40.5 through the middle sector. He's going really good here on this lap, Killer Blue. Through the hairpin. Very nice tight line taken through turn 11. Now on the king through turn 12. Opens up the DRS once again. Now should reach in excess of 200 mile an hour. Coming down into the braking zone of 13 and 14. This famous Wall of Champion chicane. Let's run on board with him as he takes that line. Beautiful line through there. Just a little bit hesitant on the exit. Killer Blue about to come across the line. Where's he going to be put? 6th place, 108.5. Very nice lap there from Killer Blue. And that looks very clean, very crisp. There's a Sauber just coming out of the pit lane. That is Bullet Boy just in behind him out on track. But a nice lap there by Killer Blue. I'm very happy with that. Messina back into the pits. Don't think he's going to get another pit. I don't think he's actually going to get another lap in here. So Messina has came into the pit as June has just started a lap actually. So we're right on board then with the Spaniard. Very committed through turn 3. Goodness me. June 18.8 through the first sector and he's invalidated. I could tell from a mile off that. He overcommitted himself there into turn 3 and that was a pure invalidation from June. Nothing more, nothing less. Dakar coming through the middle sector. Looking good here. He's actually just came through the DRS zone. I do apologise. I thought that was a sector split for some reason. Dakar then through turns 8 and 9. Messina has retired from the session in the pit lane. Don't think he's definitely not going to get another lap in now. 40.3 from Dakar through the middle sector, a 10th up. And that could put him ahead of Messina and possibly within reach of Montana. This is going to be quite interesting to see. Everyone opting to go softs or mediums, by the way. Neil and YHYY on a set of hards. I think they've changed tyres, actually. Dakar reaching the final 2 corners. The Scotsman through there nicely. On the run up towards the line. I think he's going to go ahead of Montana here, actually. Dakar, 107.8. Whoa. Very nice lap there by the Scotsman. Takes it by 1100ths of a second, but Montana has actually just started that. But right on board with X-Jarry, who's just through the hairpin. Tony sitting in 4th with a 108.2. Now opens up the DRS coming through the kink at turn 12. Running down the straight. He has got a McLaren, I think that is, just ahead of him. So that'll be V5HRL, who's just on the end of his lap. In fact, he's straight into the pit. So X-Jarry to the final corner, looking to improve on this time. Better come across the line now. He doesn't. That was invalidated at 107.9. It wouldn't have gone better than Montana. And Montana is nearly 3/10 up through the middle sector. 40.1 through the middle sector here for the Swiss man. Can the current championship leader fight it to the line and find more time? It's going to be a 107.5 possibly here. Somebody getting out of the way. I think that might be Cantera just getting out of the way, or June, one of the 2 Reynolds just getting out of the way. There is Mercedes just in behind as well. Montana through the wall of chicane, wall of champion chicane. It's going to be Paul for him. What's the time? It's a 107.6. Very nice lap there. Lost a little bit of time in that middle sector, in the final sector, sorry. Montana across the line. Dakar not improving. 107.8 from him. Neil was just jumping up in 4th. We'll try and come on board. Chapelletti goes 7th. Sterling the only one on a lap. Got the final chicane actually. And you will get a 3-second time penalty if you do that in the race. Sterling across the line. While Ouija is the only one that can pull it up there. He does, he goes 13th. 1.5 seconds actually. 1.5 seconds separating the top 14 times. That's Montana from Dakar and Messina. Dakar, bit of a shocker I think there for a 2nd place. Messina in third, Neo in fourth, Xjavi in fifth position. Just waiting on Cantera now to retire from the session. Perfect timing. But Montana once again out on top, and AI crashed there. That was a racing point. That might have been Larkin possibly. But as we reached the end of qualifying, here was the rundown of the results. Montana out on pole position with a 107.6. Dakar in second with Messina filling out that top three. Neo in fourth, going to be joining Messina on that second row with Xjavi and Doom filling out the top six. Schiaparelli, Bullet Boy, Killer Blue and Larkin top 10. Nice laps there by all of them. Sterling, YHYY, Waluigi, V5HRL, the only other ones set lap time. They'll get free choice of tyres, as will Cantera and Game Boys with a set no time. And of course, coming in tonight, top 10 separated by less than a second. Good to see. And Montana out on pole position by just over a 10th and 3/4 of a second. So a very nice lap there from the Swiss man. Let's get some interaction then with the comment section. I think we have lost Larkin as well from the rest. Yeah, Larkin has not joined back here tonight, so Larkin, I'm afraid, not going to be racing here tonight. Bullet Boy coming in saying, I fucked it up in the last corner. We're 7/10 up. Apparently I was purple in the middle sector. Quite costly that. Montana wasn't taking the risk at the final chicane. If he was taking the risk at the final chicane, who knows what lap time it would have been. But we are about to get set here for some very, very nice laps here around Canada. There's Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. You will hear me crunching my menthol in just a little bit. There we go. It's gone down now. But looking at Discord as well, nothing coming through on Discord in the Division 1 chat. Looks like Division 3 might be having some problems. I think people might have been kicked out of the session, so that's unfortunate. Division 3 is live, and currently at this stage, Everbryn Mike leads the way, Norwich City in second, and the Bread Bank, what a name that is, in third position, and they're pretty much halfway through on that 35 lap race. So do not tune in. You know where your home is. Your home is here with me in Division 1. So, of course, top 10 qualifying on a set soft compound of tyres, and in fact, with Larkin not starting here tonight, that is going to put, there is Larkin, just to confirm he's not out on track, so that is going to put a free space between Killer Blue and Sterling. That could be quite advantageous, I think, between those two. Sterling could then jump into the slipstream of Larkin, try and get a good start off the line. And top 10, as I say, were to start on the soft compound of tyres, would be the top 9 that start on the soft compound of tyres, the tyres that they have qualified on in the qualifying session. Bit of a difference in strategy further down the field. Sterling, YHYY, Waluigi, Cantera and Game Boys, who's already had a crash, I think, on the formation lap, so Cantera's back into the pits, unless he's just waiting there. And Game Boys as well on a set of medium compound of tyres, with V5HRL the only one out of the bottom 6 starting on a set of soft compound of tyres. Very quick formation lap this, and Montana already towards the final 2 corners at 13 and 14. You will have to forgive me if I do cough or anything during this stream, but Montana is about to start once again on pole position with Dakar on the front row alongside him, Messina, Neo, Xjavi, Doom. Who is going to win here tonight in Canada? We are moments away from the start at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Canadian Grand Prix in Division 1 of League of Europe. And of course, Russia last week proved to be such an entertaining, such a great race. Will lap 1 be the same? Let's find out as the light sequence now comes on. The 5 red lights are about to go out here in Canada. Lights out and away we go. Fantastic start by Montana. Looks like Dakar might have just edged the start. Actually, Messina, Neo down into turn 1, and it's Montana out on top. Everyone clean through turn 1. Waluigi getting very close there. I think that was to the back of ILRT Sterling, but Montana leads the way, and there's 3 wide in the background. Messina's round the outside of Dakar, and 2 get back in. That was during horse migration, so I'm not sure what happened there. And YHYY is still there in the thingy, so I think that is due to my connection. And people can hear me. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. Oops. There we go, I've just ruined everyone's rest there, goodness me. Right, let's get back into spectate mode. Oh, we can't get into spectate mode because the names are still loading. So this is what you're seeing for the rest, guys. Division 1 going absolutely phenomenally well here tonight. I can't really say what's going on, apart from what happened there in the early stages of lap 1. Dakar getting, I think, a bad run out of turn 3 into turn 4, knocking the front wing off, causing, I think Neil might have been on the back of him, I'm not sure, we'll have to go back, and in fact, while we're loading, I'll get that replay up of what I saw there. Spine F1 coming in saying rip. Yeah, rip indeed. That is absolutely fantastic. It's typical me, that. So we'll ride on board. I'm just having a look on board through turn 2. Messina getting Dakar around the outside. Phenomenal move that around the outside. Neo onto the back of Dakar. Dakar actually goes down the and hits the wall. So Dakar actually hits the wall, and that is him pretty much out of contention, I think, for the race win. Hopefully we are going to be back live very, very shortly indeed. I do apologise about this. We are on to lap 3 out of 35, so the DRS will have been enabled out on track, as we'll slowly get into spectator mode. Hopefully we'll get into spectator mode. You can see on my screen that we are in spectator mode, but the names haven't loaded. GG Codemasters. Absolutely fantastic. But lap 3 out of 35 here in Canada, and this is not what you like to be seeing. You want to be seeing, and I want to be seeing, the action out on track, and here we go. Finally, at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, you have missed 2 laps of action. Hopefully you haven't missed much. We'll try and get as much as information as possible from the first 3 laps out here in Canada. I do apologise, honestly. But here out on track, we're on board then with Dakar, and I've got no game sound, and I have actually got nothing coming up on my screen. Oh, there we go. Just finally came up. So Montana leads the way, Messina in second, Dakar in third, with Neo in fourth, Xjavi in fifth, Chapelelli in sixth. Let's have a look at the position changes, just to engage with what has happened in the last 3 laps or so. Not many changes, in fact, and I think nobody has been into the pits either. So I think that must have been a lag spike that we saw there with Dakar. His right side end play is completely there, so it might have been my fault. But Montana leads the way with 1.4 seconds out on track. Messina in second, trying to break the toe from Dakar just in behind. Neo in fourth with Xjavi in fifth, Chapelelli in sixth with Doom in seventh, Bullerboy in eighth, Killer Blue in ninth, YHYY in 10th. We're right on board then with Chapelelli getting very close to the back of Xjavi. He has to commit this down the inside. Gap closing all the time, and Xjavi, great defensive driving there by Xjavi to hold him off. Chapelelli had to go for a move. He couldn't have backed off. There would have been contact there. Everyone just breaking the toe ahead. Chapelelli, though, in the meantime, on the back of Xjavi, down into the final chicane. Not going to be close. And Neo's got a great run out on Dakar, who's very costly at the final corner. And Neo, I think, is going to be down the inside here. Cuts across just right in front of him. That's a dangerous come across, that, I've got to be honest. That might just need looking at. Nothing wrong in that. That was just very, very close indeed. That could have possibly cost them both races. Luckily, there was no contact. Neo up into third, nice move. Dakar into fourth now, and reducing down the order. And looking at his race pace currently, he has been done by Messina and Neo, so Dakar arguably could be falling further down the field here into the clutches of his teammates and into Chapelelli as well. The German having an outstanding race so far. Doom in seventh has lost a position off the start. Really, only 2 losers out of the first 5 laps, Dakar and Doom. 2 positions and 1 position's lost. Everyone else either neutral or getting 1 or 2 positions here and there. Great start, that's what you like to see. As Montana leads the way, 2.1 seconds. Messina, Neil now getting closer to Messina, who opts to try and go defensive down into the final 2 corners of 13 and 14. Fly through the rest of the Wall of Champions chicane. I keep on saying Wall of Race of Champions there, I don't know why. Chapelelli on the back of Xjavi, just in the background. Neil not attempting to remove there on Messina either. And a bit of a 5-car train now developing. It's Messina, Neil, Dakar, Xjavi and Chapelelli for lap 6 out of 35 here, and Bullet Boy and YHYY, there's been a little bit of contact, I think, in behind. Killer Blue dropping down the order. I think he might have cut across turns 1 and 2, possibly, and forgiven the positions to Sterling and Waluigi, possibly. I can only imagine what's happened there. Neil right on the back of Messina, though. This is down in towards turn 8. Cantera's picked up a 3-second time. Felipe now, the German, down the inside of Messina, the Finn, and he's got the move done. So Neil now into second place, and he can now set his sights, possibly, on that win. And Montana, 2.9 seconds ahead of it, up the road. Everyone filing single file through Canada, of course. F1 Esports was here last week, of course. Not like we're going to be on the same level as F1 Esports, but you never know. Montana still leading the way. Messina now getting closer in the slipstream. He is going to try to move here down into 13 and 14, and that is cheeky. That is very, very cheeky, that by Messina. Gets the move done, and then goes into the pits. Great stuff. Messina, Dakar, and Chapelelli are into the pits. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3, and it's RRT Sterling that's round. RRT Sterling is round at the final 2 corners. Not sure if there was contact there with another driver. I think we'll get a POV shot of that. Montana leads the way, 3.4 seconds. All changed now as a result of those pit stops. Everyone opting to go very early into the pits with these soft compound of tyres. The mediums and the hards, of course, will be the sort of tyres that we come to expect. Mediums, in fact, going on for the majority of the field. In fact, pretty much the whole field, apart from Sterling, now on a set of medium compound of tyres. Sterling, of course, on a set of hard compound of tyres, as you can see on the graphic. Right on board then with Waluigi, who's now in 6th place. Still the X-Pit, of course, with a set of mediums. He's one of the runners that did start further down the field, and he has gained positions as a result of all those pit stops. He started in 13th. YHYY started in front of him, actually, on the grid. So it's going to be quite interesting between these two. And has he got right side end plate damage? No. Just the way the Ferrari's right side end plate is, and Montana into the pits. So Montana is in, Neil is in, X-Jerry is in. Top 4 are in. YHYY then will be left out in front. So let's see these pit stops. There's going to be medium compound of tyres, I think, for the majority of these guys, if not all of them. Neil on for mediums. Bullet Boy is on for set of mediums. Everyone now on a set of mediums, and that leaves YHYY out in front with Waluigi pressurising him through turn 2. June sets the new fastest lap for the rest. A 1:11.115 there from June. If only that was 4,000 quicker, we would have had all the ones there. But YHYY leads the way. And it's a bit of a mixed race now with June putting in earlier than Montana, 2 laps earlier than Montana that we saw. Chapelelli's picked up a 3-second time apparently in the meantime. Right on board with Waluigi, who is about to get the move done here on YHYY, down into the braking dot of turn 8, having to force the issue. And now Cantera is just going to sandwich himself between both of them, and that is brilliant. Cantera reading the situation perfectly. Waluigi is going to try this down the inside, a shocking camera angle, but Cantera has managed to find his way through. That is a perfect judgment of a situation there from Cantera, the Spaniard. Brilliant in that, and has got the lead of the race, while Waluigi and YHYY now down into 2nd and 3rd respectively. Brilliant reading of the situation, as I said there, from Cantera. That was phenomenal. Bullet Boy on the back of X-Jerry though, 4P9 out on track, and this should be quite easy in fact. Both on the fresh set of tyres, and Bullet Boy has got the move done. Because X-Jerry comes straight into the pit lane. I think he's got left side end plate damage. Yeah, left side end plate damage it looks like from X-Jerry he has. He's clipped the wall there somewhere out on track. Front wing change for him. That's going to be costly. About a 20-second pit stop here in Canada. But in the lead of the race, it's Cantera who leads the way. From Waluigi in 2nd, about a quarter way through this race, so about 25% race distance of this 50% race. Cantera leads, Waluigi 2nd, YHYY in 3rd, Game Boys in 4th. Montana, the current net leader, out on track, but he's got June right on the back of him, and the Spaniard looking to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons here tonight. And the Spaniard on the back of the Swissman, the current championship leader, just ahead of him out on track. He's getting very close around the hairpin. Close turn 10, famously synonymous for that Robert Kubica crash that I was on about in qualifying, 2007 that was. June getting closer to Montana. In the meantime, Neil was trying to find his way past Dakar, and this is going to be round the outside into the final corner. Dakar has to back off there. Job is done for Neil. He's got the move done. He's up to P7. Can he fight his way back through the field, I wonder? He's only a second off He's only 2.5 seconds off Doom and about 3 seconds off Montana. Schiaparelli is back into the pits. Again, left side end plate damage there for Schiaparelli. So they're really clipping the wall here out on track. And Schiaparelli into the pits and goes for a set of softs, and I think that might be just perfect for him actually. LRT Sterling coming past the McJarry, so Schiaparelli is actually going to be at the back. Larkin has joined, but it's way too late. His car was not out on track. And I think that glitch actually was for Larkin's car peering out on track. That's why we had the host migration. I've just clicked on there. But Cantera leads the way. Luigi in second, YHYY in third, with Game Boys in fourth, Montana in fifth, and Doom currently sitting in sixth place, right on the back of Montana, about 5 tenths away, now 7 tenths away on the exit. My voice just starting to go a little bit. Cantera leads the way though by a second out on track, and we'll ride on board. We'll check on board with the comment section. Larkin saying my left to know, and I reckon Montana cyber attacked me and gave me a power cut, so I couldn't beat him. That is the best line I think we've ever had in the comment section. That is brilliant. Montana trying to find his way through past Game Boys. He's got to be careful though, because he's now got Doom all over the back of him. And Game Boys, arguably the slower driver in this case, will try and hold up Montana as much as possible to try and force the issue here on Doom. And Doom's currently sitting in fifth place. Like Cantera, I think he can read the situation quite well. Montana, I think, usually we normally see a dive bomb from him somewhere out on track, but Doom is right on the back of him. He's only 2 tenths away, and Montana now should get past Game Boys. And Game Boys, is he going to relinquish position to Doom? No, he's not. He sticks a car in between them both. So now, Doom has got to do it the hard way, and he actually makes it look pretty easy. Game Boys now not getting involved in that, as Doom has got the move done. He is into P4, but Cantera pulling the way out on track. Luigi in second, Montana in third, all very close knit at the top end of this field. Game Boys further down the field. Dakar trying to close in on Neo once again. They're about 7 tenths away from each other. YHYY. Oh, and Montana has left the session. Montana has left the session now. I'm not sure if we're having some sort of issues here, possibly here tonight. But now, with Montana getting disconnect, it's now going to leave Doom in the lead of the race, in the net lead of the race, with Cantera and Waluigi just ahead of him out on track. There's a lot of things going on here tonight, and I have a feeling it's something to do with the Larkin disconnect that we saw out on track. And because the coding might not be up to scratch, they probably haven't removed that car from the grid, and as we saw, he was in the pit lane, so that has probably caused a few issues there. And I have a feeling this could only be the start of something. Maybe. That's what I think anyways. You can make your own judgments on that, as I say, but that could be linked. It could be linked with that. But Cantera, Adam from 1.8 seconds leading from Waluigi in second, Doom in third, Montana with that disconnect in fourth at the minute. Hopefully we can get him back. Game Boys in fifth, Neo in sixth, with Dakar in seventh, Bullet Boy in eighth, about 4 seconds off now, 3.6 actually. As Game Boys now is going to get past Montana down into the braking zone. Cantera into the pit lane. He's going to be going set of hards, is that? No, another set of mediums actually for Cantera. So another set of mediums, held up slightly there by Game Boys, just coming into the pits there, and he's on for a set of softs. He's going to be going 2-stop. Cantera could manage a 1-stop. Messina has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Dakar now the next one to pass Montana. Hopefully the AI not putting off the drivers here out on track. And Waluigi leads the way, but the net lead of the race, and very costly for Montana this is. Doom leads the way. Montana has just joined back, so Montana's joined back. Can he take control of his car? No, he can't at the minute. It's still in ghost mode, but he's back anyways, and he can try and hunt down Neo. He's only lost 3 positions. I think he can still win the race from here, to be honest. But it just makes things a lot more interesting. This is what we want in Division 1. Waluigi and Doom, 3 tenths per second. Doom should get past here down the straight. As the Belgian will try and defend off the Spaniard. The Spaniard now on the inside line, down into 13 and 14. Waluigi off into the pit lane, and Doom has got the move anyways done, and he's up into the lead of the race. And Montana has just joined back, and in fact he just came into the pit lane. So Montana into the pits. This is very awkward for him. There's no... Oh, well, there's his pit crew. Victory won showing when he came into the pit. Set a hard compound of tyres now for Montana. It's going to be costly. Has he read the situation well though? He's going to be coming out just in front of V5HRL, is he? He could just be coming out behind him actually. Montana just ahead. And that is not a thousandth of a second over the pit lane as Chapelletti is retired from the session. So Chapelletti, the first one out the race. I'm not sure if he's crashed that out on track. Imagine he has, and it's a VSE deployed. So virtual safety cars now being deployed brings a temporary hold to this race. Now we can take stock of what has happened over the last couple of laps, and we are 2/5 of the way through here on that 14 out of 35. Doom leads the way, Neo in second, Dakar in third, Messina in fourth, Bullet Boy in fifth, Cantera in sixth, with Waluigi in seventh, apologies, Game Boy in eighth, with Montana in ninth. He's back, V5HRL in 10th, YHYY, Killer Blue, Sterling, next Jerry, and Doom is into the pits. So Doom responds to Montana coming into the pits. Doom is in, free pit stop pretty much, the VRC still has not ended, but I think he's got a time penalty, as you know he hasn't. Just a bit of a lag spike there. So Doom coming out to the pits now. Pantera, his teammate, is just coming beside him, and this is perfect for the two Renaults. Doom out ahead, free pit stop. I think he's going to win this race now, and he's just out of the pit lane when the DRS has been enabled. Fantastic judgment here by the two Spaniards tonight, and Doom has pulled off a wonder strategy there. Has took advantage of the VSC and is now surely on his way to a race win here tonight. And now, I've probably said that, we're going to commentators curse him now, aren't we? Neo leads the way from Dakar in second, Doom in third, Montana, as a result of a couple of guys just pinning in behind, Messina and Bullet Boy. Montana now 1.8 seconds behind Game Boys, who's on a soft compound of tyres, and I tell you what, Montana loading him in here. So the hards clearly working better than the softs, I think. 1.7 seconds. We'll see how this closes up in the next couple of laps or so. Messina in the background on V5HRL is the closest battle out on track. For P8 and P9 out on track. Messina currently looking like he's going to be in a net P6, I make that as Neo and Dakar, I think, will definitely have to pit again, and V5HRL. So yeah, net P6. He better get the move done now. Down into 13 and 14. Messina down the inside. Bit of Goldstein in between them. No quarters given them. There's a spin. They get contacted there. Both of them left side end plate damage. I think that is from Messina. And now YHYY is going to have to read this. And he just gets past V5HRL. Bit of contact on, and it's actually V5HRL that came out worse. Right side end plate damage for the McLaren, not Messina's damage. I may stress that. But we approach the halfway stage, bit of contact there, bit of Goldstein. I think there was a bit of a Goldstein system failure, to be honest. That we'll have to have a look at, of course, in the stewards' room after this race. Bullet Boy, in the meantime, on the back of V5HRL, after that contact, unfortunate contact, I've got to stress. I think that's a pure racing incident. But Bullet Boy now passed on V5HRL and up into P10. And V5HRL now will have to come into the pits. Essentially, a bit of a forced pit stop. He was going to have to come into the pits anyways, but now a bit of a forced pit stop. Can he continue around with that damage, or is that damage is that damage enough to bring him into the pits early? Doom, new fastest lap for race with a 1:10.9, while Waluigi is picking up a 3-second time penalty. In the meantime, Xjerry on the back of Killer Blue's AI car will ride on board with V5HRL, who decides to come into the pits. Yeah, best strategy that. Shots it into neutral as well. YHYY took a 3-second time penalty as well. Xjerry has just gone past on Killer Blue. So that pretty much brings an end really to the battles. Got Killer Blue's AI fighting with Xjerry, but I don't want to really cover that. Let's ride on board with the leader then, Neo. 1.5 seconds out in front from Dakar in second, Doom in third, with Cantera in fourth. The two Renaults, I've got to say, have pulled off a bit of a masterclass here tonight. Waluigi in fifth, Game Boys in sixth, Montana in seventh, Messina in eighth, YHYY in ninth, and Bullet Boy in 10th position. My voice going slightly again. Division 3, what is happening in Division 3? It's actually just came to the end of this race, and it was James, not me. I'm not James LH in Division 3 as I've been commenting on before. Game Boys though in the meantime closing in on Waluigi. Going to be very close down into 13 and 14. We'll give you the result of Division 3 very shortly, and that's a great move there by Game Boys. Down the inside, he might have overrun himself though, out of the final corner. And now Waluigi pretty much side by side with him, but with Game Boys having the DRS, opens up once again, pulls away, and is up to P5. So nice stuff there from Portuguese man. The Game Boys up into 5th place. Nice stuff. Division 3, James LH 1, Norwich City in 2nd, Ivor Bryn Mike in 3rd, with Eduk in 4th, and the Bread Bank, great name, in 5th position. And there's 18 finishers in that race as well. So, just to ruin you up a little bit of a spoiler there, we are now through the halfway stage here in Division 1. Do appreciate everyone tuning in. We should get the backlog now from Division 3 coming in to Division 1 and viewing us. Waluigi though on the back of Game Boys, and this again looking very close between these two. Game Boys just defending nicely, but Waluigi's going to have the run off, and I think Waluigi's actually got left side end plate damage, has he? Does he? Yes, but he's got the move done anyways. Waluigi back into P5, and Montana hunted him down, and now he's got damage. Waluigi has now got damage, right side end plate damage, and Montana will try and get past both of them, down into turn 1. Montana's past 1, he's past Game Boys. Game Boys lagging a little bit. Montana now into 3 and 4 on the approach to 3 and 4, while Luigi just beginning to lag as well a little bit. In fact, it might be me that is doing that. And Neil leads the way, Daka 2nd, Juman 3rd, Montana trying to make his way through, down the inside now into turn 6. Great move that, Montana, brilliant move. That's the move of the race so far. Montana is through and he's up to P5, but he's going to have to defend off the attention off the flying Belgian in behind, while Luigi, and he does for now. And with that damage, I think Montana will begin to pull away. He's now intranet P3, so Montana trying to make as much out of this as possible of this race. He's trying to read the situation with Doom and Cantera. Daka has got a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane, and this is where it gets interesting because Neo and Daka are into the pit lane. 15 laps to go. Another set of mediums getting put on for Neo and Daka. Doom and Cantera and the two Spaniards now lead the way. Montana on the approach to the final corner. Neo is on the exit of the pit lane. Daka about to come across the line. On the exit of the pit lane is going to be very close here actually between Daka and Montana. Montana, is it just going to be ahead? He is. He's read it perfectly. Montana is ahead of Daka. And now Daka and Waluigi just decide to slot him behind. Let the fresher tyre man go. So Daka and a 3-second time apparently getting picked up there by the young Scotsman. But Doom leads the way. Cantera 2nd, Neil in 3rd position. And fresher tyres is ahead of Montana by 2 seconds. That's going to be crucial. Remember, it was very close before Montana disconnected, so Montana's actually made up a lot of ground in this race quite fast. So the Swiss man trying to do the impossible, I think, here tonight. Well, I can't write him on for a win. I'm sorry, I cannot write him on for a win after what has happened. If he wins, it's the race. It's the performance of the season if he produces this. But Doom out in front, Cantera in 2nd, Neil in 3rd, lap 21 out of 35 just begun. We are now 3/5 of the way through this race, so we're about 50% rest about 60, nearly 65% rest distance here as we approach towards the final few laps now. 15 laps to go if you're being picky, 14 and a half to go. And Doom leads the way, Cantera in 2nd, the two Spaniards dominating it out in front. But the real battles are going to be starting to happen in behind. Montana and Daka, it seems, is going to be very interesting now. It looks like the Swiss man just trying to measure his tyres, just trying to keep his tyres to best effect. Daka on a fresher set is going to be all off the back of him. Game Boys and Killer Blue, obviously Killer Blue's AI changing positions there with Game Boys, so he's now through into P12. Daka though, with young Scotsman chasing down the current championship leader, and who would have thought this coming into tonight's race? Montana and Daka possibly fighting it out for a potential podium as opposed to a race win. Daka of course qualifying in 2nd, Montana qualifying on pole, and these two are going to do battle down into the final corner. Daka getting very close. He's going to have to be forced around the outside. Montana takes the inside line. Bit of an awkward run through there for Daka, and loses the momentum, and Montana has got that momentum down into turn 1, I think, to hold off the attentions of Dakar, and he does, and he keeps P4 for now. We're still running board. A little bit of a tap there by Dakar. Doesn't want to afford to get another penalty, doesn't want to afford to get any front wing damage at all. And Dakar's just got to try and measure this as much as possible. It's Montana on pressure, on much fresher tyres here, Dakar, trying to close in on Montana. His tyre weight just beginning to go slightly, but I think the mediums and the hards definitely working at the better strategy at the minute. B5HRL just came into the pit. Sterling and Killer Blue VI into the pit, and B5HRL has retired from the session. So no more of B5HRL out on track. That is unfortunate. He was running outside of the points, but you never know what could happen here in Division 1. Leaves the session. We have the VSC for Sheffield Early leaving the session. Are we going to get the same thing here, or are we going to get the full hog? Let's see. Dakar on the run down behind Montana. Closing in once again, trying to eye up the inside line. No way through again for Montana, just judging his defensive lines very nicely here. Dakar a little bit closer this time to Montana down into turn 1, but again, not close enough. You've got to be within about a tenth and a half off the final corner to try and maximise that run down the start-finish straight and into turn 1 and try and get that move done down into turn 1. I think that's what Dakar needs to do at this point. With 13 laps to go, 12 and a half pretty much now. June leads the way, Cantera second, Neo in third. No real changes, but this is really, really the heat of the battle at this moment in time. And I think the two Spaniards will be coming into the pits definitely before the end of the race, so it is going to hot up things even further out on track. And what about Montana? Does he have to pit again? Will those tyres last to the end of the race? Messina closing in on Waluigi just in behind as well. And in fact, go on board with that. Messina having a poor exit out of turn 9. And that gives Waluigi a bit of breathing space once again. Dakar a little bit closer once again to Montana this time. He's just edging that little way closer. Look at it as ERS though. He has got to save up that ERS. He has to. Dakar has to save up that ERS. 48% compared to 11%. And well, really, no intentions asked as Messina has gone around the outside of Waluigi down the start finish, down the straight. And he's up into P6 as we're going back on board with Dakar, trying to attack the back end of Montana. Not quite. Bullet Boy, 3 seconds arm penalty for the Sauber. For the Alfa Romeo. Goodness me. A bit of a throwback there for Montana and Dakar. 4th and 5th out on track. And both running within 3.5 tenths of each other. If I can get my words out, that'll be perfect. Tune leading the way still from Cantera in second. Gap is extended actually, 5.8 seconds between those two. It was 5.2, now 5.8. So June extending out with slightly fresher tyres. And again, Dakar this time looking a lot closer here to Montana. If he can maximise his run and take a wider line through the hairpin, he can really try and send Montana down into the braking zone at turn 13 and 14. But yet again, he decides to take the deeper line, and I think that's what's costing him. Montana trying to break the toe here. We're on board with Dakar as he gets closer down the straight. Can the Scotsman do it down into turn 13 and 14? And again, not close enough. The Scotsman really needs to try and maximise his run, and he does. He's now really close to Montana, 2 tenths away, coming across the start-finish line. This is for P3 and P4 as Cantera has came into the pit. Just had a soft compound of tyres. Cantera still yet to come out the pit. He's going to be behind Messina and possibly behind Waluigi as well. We're right on board with him. Just cuts the inside of the pit lane there. I'm not sure if the stewards might want to have a look at that. I think it was legal, but just a little bit weird. Now, just taking out the water line through, I think it's there, Dakar begins to lag a little bit. Bit of a lag spike there from Dakar. Montana still defending him well. And the Swiss man just trying to defend. If I was Dakar in this situation though, I'd be really saving up that ERS. I would be really saving up that ERS and try to limit the use around the track here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And I think Dakar, again, just tops the back end of Montana, trying to defend. Montana was hanging on for grim life, I think. This move is going to be pulled off soon. Can Dakar get the run down on Montana? And I think Montana is just fending off the attentions of him once again, breaking that toe, and it's just breaking the toe. And The Swiss man knows what to do, but that's a brilliant run out the corner from Daka. Now, coming across the start-finish line onto lap 26 out of 35 between these two. 500th of a second. Daka trying to go all the way around the outside into turn 1, trying to force his way through on the inside here of turn 2. And I tell you what, Daka could have the inside line into turn 3. Has he got that move done? Yes, he has. Daka has got past the championship leader. What a move that is. As Montana now lunges back down the inside, very close to contact. Daka has got the move done, the fresher tyres, he now needs to save up that ERS. Daka into P3, possibly into P2. Neil running away with things, possibly in the net lead, as June will have to come into the pits. Before the end of this race, he might not have to, we could still go to the end of the race, but Daka has pulled off a worldie of a move on Montana. That is why we rode on board for about the last 5 laps or so, and Daka has got that move done. Finally, patience and persistence pays off, and Daka is up to P3. Brilliant, brilliant driving there, and I've got to say credit to Montana, great defensive driving as well between both of them. And now Montana tries to hunt down his prey once again. Montana is not finished. Knowing Montana, he will get very close to this. Essentially, Daka could hold up Cantera, just set the new fastest lap of the race, and that is what he could be doing. Daka now could hold up Montana, bring Cantera into play, and then we could have a 3-way battle. But it looks like Daka now has got a little bit more speed, but I think it's because he's using up that ERS again. 18% compared to Montana at 50% nearly. So it's really costly. Montana is holding his firm, and I think the ERS management, the way this race is developing between these two, I think the ERS is going to be key to who gets the podiums here tonight. I think it will really hold the key. As June is out in front by 9.5 seconds. Is he going to come into the pit lane, I wonder? Nope, not this lap. As we are coming on to lap 28, so 8 laps to go here in Canada. June leads the way, Neil in second, Daka in third, Montana in fourth, Cantera in 5th, with Messina in 6th, while Luigi 7th, Bullet Boy in 8th, YHYY in 9th, and next Jerry in 10th. Very, very quiet now out on track. Very quiet. As we see Messina just in the background there, going very wide off the final corner, I think that was, so he's picked up a penalty. We put a 3-second time penalty, that was for Messina. But June leads the way, 9.5 seconds from Neil in second. Daka in third, Montana in fourth. And we'll stay on board with these two for a little while. Daka and Montana, closest battle out on track. Daka just running slightly wide. But again, he's trying to pull away and gain that advantage out. So Montana, he can break the DRS here. And then Montana will not have that opportunity to get closer because he knows, Daka will know the speed of Montana. And I think this is going to be really crucial towards the end of the race. Who is going to be winning here tonight? If Jim can carry this on in for another 7 laps, could get to these to the end, he could be on his way to the success. But can he pit? I don't think he can. He'll be coming out in around 6th position possibly if he does pit. So it's not a risk to run really. It's Montana looking at the speed, he's getting closer again, 3.5 tenths. Spaniards on top, let's go, yes. Juman Cantera, it was Juman Cantera for a little while actually out on track. First and second, but Cantera now as a result of a pit stop. And the soft compound of tyres, he is getting closer, but he's not getting close enough. And Cantera, he needs to be bridging this gap down by about a second a lap. And he's not really doing that at this stage. And it looks like, I think, that with where the temperatures are working out there out on track, Montana, the mediums and the hards, are going to be working a lot more easier and a lot more simpler, I think, than the soft compound of tyres. They're going to be operating at a much better temperature, and that's why you're seeing Daka and Montana. That's why you're seeing Montana closing in on Daka as a result, obviously of VRS management as well, but this is going to get very close down in towards 13 and 14. The wall of champion chicane once again. Lap 30 out of 35. June's still out in front, still yet to come into the pit. I think he might be coming into the pit, but as long as he goes into this race, the longer he goes into this race, and he's picked up a 3-second time penalty, The longer he goes into this race, the more confident he will feel in the tyres. But he's only got 6 laps to go. That's what he's got to think. 6 laps is about another 10 minutes of racing worth around here. Dacker holding off the attentions of Montana as they come through into the chicane at 5 and 6. Looking at 6 and 7, I should say, now on the run up towards turns 8 and 9. But Dacker holding off Montana once again, and Montana getting closer, Cantera getting closer as well. Now only 1.8 seconds away from Dacker and Montana. Who would have thought this? Montana chasing down a potential podium. Apart from that disconnect, he was looking on top of things. Once again, June was right on the back of him when he did lose his when he did have that disconnect. It was about 0.5 of a second, I think, between both of them. And now Montana, the Swiss man, the current champion, switches, goes down the inside now into the chicane. Not going to try that, and Dacker just forced into a bit of a mistake there, possibly, and Montana can get a little bit closer. Now on the run down towards turn 1 once again. Lap 31 out of 35. Montana all the way around the outside of Dacker. Shuley, no, he's got the move done. Shuley, Montana has got the move done. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. That is why he's the championship leader. That is why you do not discount Montana at any cost. What a move around the outside into turn 1, on the inside line into turn 2. Great, great, great racing between Montana and Dacker here tonight, and Cantera is breathing down their necks. The Spaniard now possibly beginning to sense that these two battling ahead, bringing them into play, and now the Spaniard getting close. And speaking of getting very close, Bullet Boy on the back of Waluigi just has a moment now out of turn 7. Messina's picked up a 3-second time penalty there in behind as well. But this is the battle we want to be on board with. The battle for third. Montana, Dacker and Cantera. Cantera just a little way away from Dacker. 70% ERS. He's got to be using up that ERS, surely. He's got to take advantage of everyone ahead coming back to him, essentially. And Cantera has got to get a lot closer this time. Tries to get a lot closer. Montana holds it with 4 laps to go. Bullet Boy has gone through on Waluigi. Waluigi now down into P8. Bullet Boy has got that move done, opened up the DRS, and he's up to P7. So nice stuff there from Bullet Boy. In the meantime, Montana, Dacker and Cantera, 3rd, 4th and 5th out on track. YHYY has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Dacker not looking comfortable, I don't think, on those mediums. And if I've got to be honest, those softs are coming into play now. But can they go further than 8 laps or so, where I would have expected them to start going and to start wearing off? Montana, Cantera's picked up another 3-second time penalty. Montana holding off the attentions of Dacker, with Cantera just in behind, hunting the Spaniard, trying off for the wide out line, now onto the inside, through the hairpin at turn 10, through the kink at turn 11, now on the kink into turn 12. Montana's pulled away. Can Cantera now get close and eye up a move down into the wall of champion chicane? He's not going to be close enough. We've got 3 laps to go. These guys are about to go onto the final 3 laps out on track. Dacker very close to the wall. He's lost his right side entry. This is going to be costly. Cantera now has got the run. Cantera, the Spaniard, trying to take full advantage of that mistake from Dacker. That wing damage, trying to defend it nicely down the inside, Dacker, but Cantera on fresher tyres has got the move done around the outside. That wing damage costly for Dacker, and Cantera is up into P4. Fantastic stuff from the Spaniard. He weaves a little bit, saying, what on earth do you think you're doing? Not sure what that was all about by Cantera. I'm not sure if that was appreciation or just a little bit of danger there from Cantera, but he gets the move done on Dacker and he's up into P4 out on track. Whoa, June leading the way, and those tyres now finally beginning to go off, but I think because of his advantage, 6.5 seconds, 6.4 seconds, it should be enough for him to last the end of the race. He's got to manage. He has got to really, really be careful on those tyres. We are coming into puncture territory. Puncture alley might be around the corner for June, but 6.5 seconds should be enough to the end of the race for him. We'll check the penalties now, actually. We'll run through the penalties. Goodness me. Corner cut in heaven. June with 6 penalties. You must be kidding. Neo with a penalty. It's going to be going Neo's way, isn't it? Montana with 2 warnings but no penalties. Cantera with 2 penalties. Daka with 5 penalties, including a stop goal. Messina with 3 penalties. Apologies about the voice going. Bullet Boy with a penalty. Waluigi with a penalty. Xjari with 3 penalties. YHYY with 2 penalties. Game Boys in 11th. 2 warnings, good stuff. Sterling, penalty. Killer Blue still going around in AI mode, but June leading 5.6 seconds. Leo in second, Cantera in third, Montana in third, Cantera in fourth, trying to hunt him down. But June now onto the final lap. Can my voice last to the final lap, I wonder? Let's find out. June leads the way, 5.5 seconds. Adam from YHYY has just been overtaken. He's on 23, that balled hard. He's been overtaken by Game Boys further down the field. So Game Boys now into the points, into P10. Jumno on his way to success. Even if he gets a puncture around the final corner, I think he's going to win this. But he's got to try and manage those tyres really effectively over this last lap. It's been a great dominant drive from the Spaniard. It could have obviously been a lot different if Montana didn't have that disconnect. Neo getting closer, a couple of more laps. You never know what the result could be. But Jume now into the final, one of the final chicane down track. Through turn 9, through 8 turns 8 and 9. Now to the hairpin at turn 10, and it's going to be Jume. I think he's going to take this win out on track. But remember, Neo has got 1 penalty. Come back to Jume 6. It's going to be going to Neo then towards the end of this race. Can my voice last it out? Jume on the run to the final 2 corners. If he gets a puncture now, he's going to still win. Jume into the final 2 corners. Great management of the tyres. He's going to be coming across the line in League of Europe Division 1 here in Canada. Round 10 goes to Jume. But it doesn't, because Neo on the penalties, he knows it, he's celebrating. Neo comes across the line to win. Montana is going to be, is he going to be second, I wonder? Coming across the line, Montana, yeah, across the line in second. Good comeback, I think, from that. Not close enough for the impossible. Daka's got 5 second unserved penalty added on to his time. Messina coming across the line in 6th. As Bullet Boy around the final 2 corners in 7th. Again, a good points haul for him. Comes across the line in 7th and jumps ahead of Messina, and there's only 2 tenths off Daka. While Luigi in 8th. Penalties obviously changing as it stands. Xjari going to be coming across the line in 9th. Game Boys in 10th, and YHYY will be 11th. Game Boys jumps ahead of Xjari. YHYY, oh, only 200ths off. That is cruel. That is very cruel. ILRT Sterling won to set the final lap of the fastest lap of the race. He's 4 tenths up in this final sector. So ILRT Sterling comes across the line in 12th. And did he get the new fastest lap? Find out, but he finished 12th anyways. And that is the end here in Canada. Fantastic racing, plagued with a few disconnects, including one of my own at lap 1. Typical. But podium celebration at the beginning, and it's Neo on his 2nd race back in League of Europe. He takes it here in Germany. Great move early on in the race on Daka to get what was P3 there. But Neo has got the move, has got the win here. And the German and the celebrations and the champagne now flows at the circuit de Gilles Villeneuve here in Canada. And we move on, of course, next week to another real historic track on the calendar. Of course, we go to Japan next week. It'll be in the Japanese Grand Prix. Oh, I get XP. I didn't even compete. 2,500 XP. Thank you very much. That's for the disconnect, I think. Neo takes the win on penalties. Montana recovers the 2nd after that disconnect. What could have been for him if he didn't disconnect? Jume in 3rd. Cantera all the way from 15th into 4th. Good drive from him. Daka in 5th. Unlucky with the penalties. Bullet Boy in 6th with Messina in 7th, while Luigi in 8th, Game Boys in 9th, Xjari in 10th. Cruel for YHYY, our lobby host, who falls foul 200th of a second behind Xjari for 11th, and ILRT Sterling rounds off the top 12 with Killer Blue, V5 Etrol and Chapelelli. Larkin obviously disconnecting in qualifying, and that is a shame because he didn't get to compete. Of course, we move into China next week at Suzuka, the Suzuka International Circuit, for what will be round 11 of the championship in Canada. Hopefully you can join us then. Hopefully there will be no disconnects or anything like that. Thank you very much for tuning in. Division 2 has just begun. Toxic currently out on top. Go on, Toxic. Jake Hall in second, QVR Campbell in third. So that has just started up. Division 2 has just started up, and there's about 12 and a half minutes left in qualifying. So until next week, I've been your commentator, James Head. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in to Division 1 here in Canada. We'll see you next week for Japan. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.